We are now officially 2 games into the 4 series of the second round. All 4 of them were 2 games in. Cleveland, Atlanta, not a lot to say there. LeBron James playing great, obviously, scoring in bunches, making plays. The shooters are playing really well this series so far. You know, Mo Williams, Delonte West, Daniel Gibson, they're getting high percentage shooting out of these guys. And when they have those 2 things going, you can forget about it. And that's really, most of the players on the Cavaliers, there are a couple exceptions, but the only things that most of the players on the Cavs are really good at is shooting. They're all really good shooters. Ilgauskas is a good jump shooter. Mo Williams, that's pretty much all he does. Delonte West, that's most of what he does. So that's how they built their team, and it really is tough for other teams because LeBron is so good at getting his teammates open shots, and all these guys have been brought here with the goal, with the hope that they would be able to make high percentage shots, and they are. So really that's all that's going on there. Joe Johnson looks like he's hurt. I don't know how bad it is, but he's really not playing well even when healthy. And if he's not playing well, then the Cavaliers can just throw LeBron James on Josh Smith. And, Josh Smith was and can abuse Varejao. So if they can get that mismatch, Josh Smith on Varejao, Josh Smith can blow up on him. But if it's James, it's not that simple. So if Joe Johnson doesn't get on his game, forget about it. Because if he can make his shots, he will maybe get James to guard him, or at least give them 2 different options there. So it's like whoever James guards, there's somebody who he's not guarding who's playing well, because James is a good enough defender to shut down either of those guys, but if only one of them is going, it doesn't really matter. So Joe Johnson got to step it up. Boston, Orlando, 1-1. Orlando won game 1 even though they had like a 30-point lead and did everything they could to blow it, but they held on at the end. Everybody in this game, they did an alright job. Alston's taking a lot of heat right now for multiple reasons, but I think he played okay in game 1. Hito was scoring a little bit. They got what they needed out of Lewis. Dwight Howard was the 16 and 22 guy. Dwight Howard's not a guy who you can say who can carry a team to a victory. He doesn't do that because he doesn't score enough. But if he's grabbing 22 rebounds a game, then that should be enough for you to get enough out of other players to get that win, because he can, and most of the time he does dominate the boards. And he did have 16 points, which is not great by any means, but it's up to other people to score. JJ Redick knocking down some threes. I like that. He actually played really well in game 2 when Orlando got killed, but he is knocking down some threes, and really we know that all JJ Redick can do is shoot threes. If he can just shoot a high percentage from behind the arc in the pros and never does anything else, he can be worth it to somebody. So if he can really just get that down like he did in college, nobody will care that he's pretty much incompetent at anything else. I think people will be able to get over that, find a way to get him into a contribution role on a championship team. And he's actually done an okay job. And Hito looks healthy. Boston, the game 1, they looked exhausted from the Chicago series, and they went down 30 and were getting completely crushed by everybody. Lewis, Howard, just everybody. And then second half, Pierce did everything he could. Perkins played an okay game, and even Marbury was knocking down some shots, which is scary because Marbury's garbage, and if he's playing well, I don't even know. It's just when Marbury's knocking down shots on you, it might not be your night. But it wasn't enough at the end because Ray Allen and Rajon Rondo stunk up the joint and couldn't get it done, so okay. But it's 1-1. Orlando has home court stolen from Boston. Now they just need to protect it, and they will not have Alston for Game 1 because in Game 2, Eddie House exploded for 31 points, which makes this series a little more interesting if Boston can get that kind of production from the bench. And Alston slapped him in the head, and now he's suspended for Game 3. I don't know how big a blow that is, but it's not going to be fun to have Anthony Johnson run the point. It might have to be Hedo. The Lakers dropped Game 1. I was surprised, and looking at the game, I'm not totally sure what happened. I mean, Kobe shot kind of a low percentage. He played okay. I mean, he did have 32 points on 31 shots, which is decent, but they expect more from him. He's more of a kind of guy who needs to get you like 30 points on 22 shots or something. So, it was a little off there. Nobody was hitting their threes, and that was one of the issues I listed about this Laker team. Who's going to hit their threes? Fisher goes cold from time to time. Ariza is subpar and really only can hit threes when he's wide open. Vujacic hasn't been good all year. Farmar, I don't know. We'll see about Farmar. I mean, he's not a great three-point shooter anyway, but he might get some time this series, so we'll see. Shannon Brown, I don't know. Kobe is a good three-point shooter, although his his percentage is not great. It's like 34, 35, but he takes a lot of very contested threes, so I get that, but it's got to be one of these guys. Even Lamar Odom, I don't know, but somebody's got to step up and hit some threes. And in Game 2, they got a little bit of that. Kobe hit some, Fisher hit some. I think Farmar hit one, actually. Farmar got a little bit of playing time and played. At least he did something, because he was doing nothing for a while there. Kobe came back with one of the best games I've seen from him in a little while. He played great, hitting those jumpers. They couldn't guard him. 40 points. Really well-played game on his part. If the Lakers are getting 70 total points from Kobe, Gasol, and Odom, I think they're pretty much unbeatable, and that's what they got. Odom didn't play great or anything. He only had like 7 points, but he did pull down 11 rebounds, and they got like 65, 70 total points out of those three guys in Game 2, and that was enough. Fisher has been suspended for Game 3. I wasn't surprised. Kobe will not be suspended. I thought it was completely ridiculous that they were even thinking about that, but they did think about it. They upgraded it to a flagrant 1, but he's not suspended, so I don't know. I'm still pretty much confident LA will take this series, and I still think it could be in 5 because I do think they're outclassed a little bit in this series. Houston, that is, but time will tell. I mean, in the first game, Yao Ming played great. In Game 2, he picked up a bunch of stupid fouls and had to go to the bench. And Artest, he's on and off a little bit. He sometimes shoots a really bad percentage. Like in Game 1, he shot pretty well. Aaron Brooks has the opportunity to play great because the Lakers don't have good point guards, and he's playing pretty well so far. In Game 2, I wasn't a big fan of him, especially near the end, but he's been alright. But I think he needs to be better than that. And Artest, I don't think they're going to suspend him anymore. I think they're just going to settle for the ejection that they got. And Bynum, do something. I understand why he didn't do anything in Game 2, because Yao Ming barely played because of foul trouble, so they pulled Bynum out because they only wanted Bynum out there when Yao was out there. And I know he wasn't terrible in Game 1, but he wasn't really making an impact. So, come on, Bynum. You can do this. I mean, the excuses are running out for you. Everybody gave you a pass in the first round, but you need to step up. And finally, Denver-Dallas. I don't really know what to think here because Carmelo's not blowing up, and Denver's still winning these games by double digits. It's not Chauncey who's doing it, and I'm not surprised because Kidd is capable of guarding a player like Billups. It's not Melo because Melo's been good in these games, but he's not been great. I mean, and actually Dirk has been playing great this series. He's averaged over 30 points this series, which is great for him, especially against these defenders. I thought Kmart was going to give him problems, but he's not. It's the little things like J.R. Smith is outplaying Terry. Birdman is outplaying Bass. The bench is just winning this battle, and that can't happen because there's going to be a game in Dallas where Carmelo goes off, probably. You need to be able to weather that game, and you can do that by getting more out of your bench. And Barea is not coming off the bench anymore either. I actually don't really like that, but okay. That's really all I gotta say about that series so far. I mean, Dirk's playing great. Give him a little bit of help. That I don't have a ton interesting to say there, but that's about it. I'm out.